Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning. My name is Leah Warren, and this is your news at 10 o'clock. Over the weekend, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to put 100% tariffs on foreign-made films. Our producer Thomas Adams has more on the story.
Thanks, Leah. Donald Trump is now targeting films in his tariff war. The Republican said Sunday that he will slap 100% tariffs on any and all movies coming to the U.S. That are produced overseas, despite the threat. It's unclear how any such tariffs on international productions could be implemented. Coming up a bit later, we have our reporters talking to film producers holding film festivals around Vancouver, as well as the meaning of Red Dress Day, and potential changes to the Bansky exhibit due to changing motives from the artist. Back to you.
Thanks, Thomas. Along with a new tariff announcement, President Trump took to social media to say that he would like to reopen Alcatraz, a once high-security prison that was closed in the 1960s. Sagar Magundi from the American Press has the story.
President Trump says he'll reopen one of America's most notorious prisons.
Welcome to the Rock.
Alcatraz, on an island off San Francisco, housed some of the nation's most notorious criminals, like Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly.
You know, it's got quite a history, frankly.
The prison was closed in 1963. The president wants it enlarged and rebuilt to house the nation's most violent offenders.
It's a symbol of law and order.
But it's also crumbling, and supplying the island is expensive. Bringing Alcatraz up to modern standards would need massive investments at a time the Bureau of Prisons is closing other facilities for similar issues. It already has 16 penitentiaries performing the same high-security functions as Alcatraz, which is now a major tourist site. Sagar Magani, Washington.
In another story south of the border, the sex trafficking trial of hip-hop star Sean Diddy Combs has begun with jury selection in New York. A judge described the charges against Combs to prospective jurors on Monday, telling them that he has pleaded not guilty and is presumed innocent. Prosecutors say Combs coerced women into participating in sex acts with prostitutes during drug-fueled parties. They say he used violence and threats to keep his victim compliant and silent. Lawyers for Combs says the sex was consensual. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges including racketeering conspiracy and bringing sex workers across state lines. The trial is expected to last at least 8 weeks. Moving on to some more positive local news, Tim Hortons is serving up a new set of breakfast boxes with a side of star power. The cafe chain has partnered with Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds on the scrambled egg-based boxes. Food marketer Joanne MacArthur says it's a good pairing.
Ryan Reynolds, excellent choice. His personality or persona, I think, matches well with Tim Hortons. We know that breakfast has been the hardest hit for QSRs with hybrid working, so this makes sense to me to come up with a box that's a different portable option versus just a breakfast sandwich.
The boxes Tim Hortons is now selling under Reynolds' name contain 2 scrambled eggs, hash browns, chipotle sauce, and either bacon strips or sausage crumbles. Moving on to sports, Captain Adam Lowry scored at 16:10 of the second overtime period during the Winnipeg Jets game. With a 4-3 win at home over the visiting St. Louis Blues Sunday night, the Jets rallied for 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of regulation time, including Cole Perfetti's tying goal with just 3 seconds left to force the game into extra time. Jets forward Kyle Connor with 3 assists says his team refocused when it needed to.
Down 3-1, a couple minutes left. There's no quit in this room, and took it over. And I thought we, did a great job in overtime. Had a lot of sustained zone time, and it was just a matter of time.
The Jets next play the Dallas Stars in round 2 of the NHL's playoffs. Moving on to weather, in Burnaby today, we are expecting a sunny day with a high of 19 and a low of 7 overnight. Expect a mix of sun and cloud throughout the week. I'm Leah Warren, and this is BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning. I'm Hayden Stewart, and this is your sports update at 10:10. In hockey, Captain Adam Lowry scored at 16:10 of the second overtime, and the Winnipeg Jets capped off a remarkable Game 7 comeback with a 4-3 win at home over the visiting St. Louis Blues Sunday night. The Jets rallied from 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of regulation time, including Cole Perfetti's tying goal with just under 2 seconds left to force the game to extra time. Perfetti says scoring a game-changing goal was a dream come true.
Playing in a Game 7, first time ever doing that. It was awesome playing in front of this crowd. It was incredible tonight, and some great plays late in that game.
The Jets will next face the Dallas Stars starting Wednesday at home in the team's first postseason meeting. The Maple Leafs open the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs today against the Florida Panthers. Toronto captain Austin Matthews says his team is ready for the defending Stanley Cup champs.
Leading into this, just feel like we're a prepared group, we're ready to go, and we know that the challenge that lies ahead, and it's just taking it one step at a time.
Florida eliminated Toronto in 5 games in the second round of the 2023 playoffs. A woman who prosecutors allege was sexually assaulted by 5 former members of Canada's World Junior Hockey Team is set to continue testifying at their trial today. The woman, who could not be identified under a publication ban, told the court last week she felt drunk and not fully aware of her surroundings at the London, Ontario bar where she first encountered some of the accused on June 18, 2018. Michael McLeod, Carter Hart, Alex Formanton, Dylan Dubé, and Callan Foote have all pleaded not guilty to sexual assault. McLeod has also pleaded to not guilty to an additional charge of being a party to the offense of sexual assault. The charges relate to an encounter that took place at a hotel in downtown London later that night. The court has heard many members of the World Junior Hockey Team were in town at the time for a gala celebrating their gold medal win. Now to basketball, Tyrese Halliburton ignites closing run for Pacers, who stunned Cavs 121-112 in Game 1 of the East Semis. Tyrese Halliburton made a go-ahead three-pointer midway through the fourth quarter that sparked a decisive burst for the Indiana Pacers. Halliburton finished with 22 points and 13 assists, and he also made key plays on the defensive end, blocking a three-point attempt by Max Strus with 2:12 left and converting it into a layup for a 10-point lead. Andrew Nembhard added 23 points and made 5 three-pointers for the Pacers, who finished 19 of 36 from 3. Donovan Mitchell led Cleveland with 33 points. In football news, the Commanders are hosting the 2027 NFL Draft in Washington. The 2027 NFL Draft is heading to the nation's capital, a person familiar with the details told the Associated Press on Sunday. The person spoke on condition of anonymity because President Trump is set to make the announcement on Monday at the White House. Washington hosting the draft 2 years from now is the latest off-field victory for the Commanders, a week since they reached an agreement with the D.C. government to build a stadium on the old RFK site. That is still pending council approval. In baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays lost yet another close game against the Cleveland Guardians yesterday afternoon, losing 5-4. The Blue Jays are off to another slow start this season. With a record of just 16-18 and in 4th place in the American League East, they need their star players to start playing like stars. Along with the slow start, pitchers Max Scherzer and Eric Swanson have been moved to the 60-day injured list. Scherzer only pitched 3 innings for the team before re-injuring his thumb. To replace these pitchers, the Blue Jays have signed Spencer Turnbull and Jose Urena to 1-year deals. Aaron Judge is off to an incredible start this season. Through 34 games, he has a .423 batting average and an OPS of .1287. Many are asking the question of if he can hit over 400 for the entire season. The last player to hit 400 in a season was Ted Williams in 1941, when his batting average was .406. Although, Williams only struck out 27 times the whole season, while Judge had already struck out 31 times. In soccer, Inter Milan and Barcelona are tied 3-3 in their Champions League semifinal matchup. The second and final game is set to be played tomorrow at 12 p.m. in Milan. That has been your sports update at 10:10. I'm Hayden Stewart, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
On BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.